Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Stellaris with me, Elathrex, and of course, welcome to our last full playthrough before we get back into modded playthroughs, because honestly, there's just something I really want to do, and since the game has updated recently, and apparently this is now a lot better to do, I think now is the right time to do it before we get back into the mods themselves. So today, we're doing a full playthrough with the rule that I'm not allowed to step foot on any world. That is to say, I'm only allowed to have habitats, perhaps not even allowing myself to have ring worlds, a habitat only run, which means we are going to probably have 100 plus habitats by the end of the video. Honestly, that is my goal. That's a side quest to get 100 habitats, but let's just see if we can even survive doing this, because the last time I tried to do this, I ended up really disliking the experience, but I now know that the trade value system is a lot better because of the tradition changes with mercantile and everything else, and there's been a lot of quality of life changes. Habitats have changed since last time I've done this, and honestly, I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and every time I go Void Dwellers normally, I end up just basically becoming a normal empire with a few more habitats than usual. I end up getting some kind of migration treaty, or end up rushing synths or something like that, and then going on normal worlds, and everything is all samey. So today instead, we're going with Void Dwellers with the rule again, no planets. Habitats only, and I think this is going to be weirdly relaxing after a very quick test game I did yesterday. I also feel like this is going to be one of those runs where I consider my victory condition simply surviving the endgame crisis and allowing it to eat everyone else. So us staying in a very small pocket of territory, since I think we're going to be playing very tall here, and as long as I can survive in that territory forever, I consider that a win, rather than necessarily destroying the endgame crisis as is the normal victory condition. So with that, this is the empire. We are going with the Floating Trade Guild using one of the new aquatic portraits, which honestly, after playing a quick test run with, I have really grown to adore these things. There's something about this portrait that's so alien and so spacey, which is a weird thing to say. I really, really like it. I undervalued it when I first saw it, but now maybe one of my favorites, like top 5. At some point, I'm going to have to rank all of the appearances. My god, me doing a tier list. That may happen in the future. Now, the lore of this empire, like all Void Dwellers, they live on habitats above their world because the world itself has been torn asunder. But unlike the usual Void Dwellers, they were not the original creators of the habitat. In fact, they were simply moved there by some beneficial force. Perhaps a forerunner species, perhaps one of the fallen empires. It is simply lost to the ages because when that happened, they were simply a primitive species. They know not exactly why the world was destroyed, but within the habitats themselves, as they became more technologically advanced, which I imagine would happen very quickly when living on an artificial habitat, they learned from the very few data logs available that perhaps their species themselves were to blame. Perhaps something about this species could cause an end event where a world would eventually be destroyed. Perhaps this was a lie from the people who put them on the habitat. Perhaps they weren't so beneficial, but they took this to heart, and now they will never step foot on a world for fear they will destroy it. Completely believing in the kindness of the species who move them to the habitats, they have become fanatic xenophiles and egalitarians. Resources were scarce on these habitats, so they have become somewhat competitive. However, they are egalitarian through and through, trying to share what they have to ensure the survival of their species. And hopefully, as they continue, they will thrive in this new galaxy. So basically, they've been fed propaganda that they themselves are world killers. Perhaps they were that, or perhaps that's a complete lie, but either way, they will take that to heart. So no worlds for this species, only habitats. And most likely, as time goes on, they realise perhaps they were lied to, they'll become a bit more isolationist. I was actually super tempted to do a isolationist run with this, because we're going to need so little space, but I do really want to go with a trade value build, because apparently it's so much more powerful now, especially being able to get so many merchants on habitats, with every single district giving you a merchant, and then every single one of your commercial, I forgot exactly what it's called, the building which gives you clerks can also now give you merchants if you go down the right tradition tree. It's very, very powerful. So, Fanatic Xenophiles is what we're going with. We're also going with Free Trade, it's because we love everyone, and Mastercraft Inc. Now, this one I'm not sure of, because as soon as we get a Federation, which I'm rushing, we won't really need to make our own consumer goods, but I think this will make life a lot easier in the early game. Plus, it's one of my favourite civics. Now with our species, we are thrifty, intelligent, and nomadic, and we are void dwellers. Nomadic because we are going to have so many habitats, I think will be useful since we're going to have a lot of immigration pull. We might have migration treaties as well, perhaps going into xenocompatibility, so I think for once this might be a really good trait. I'm not too sure. I don't normally particularly like nomadic, but we will see. We are also, of course, void dwellers, which comes with the origin, giving us extra output on habitats, but making sure we don't ever go on a world. Although, we also get minus 10% population growth, which is pretty brutal. And because we are egalitarians, it means we are going to go with utopian abundance, so again, nomadic maybe not the best since unemployment's fine on planets, but we will see. We are also fleeting because I just kind of think that works with this kind of species who have survived living a primitive life on such a confined space. Don't know why, I just think it fits. Again, really love this, by the way, the portrait. Just every time I look at them, I think this fits this particular empire really well, since it does already look like they're sort of floating in a zero-G environment. Which I really, really like. Obviously, they're meant to be in water, but I think it works. And our homeworld is Salvation. Funnily enough, this is actually the second time doing this intro, because originally I was going to go pacifist rather than egalitarian and really play off the whole, perhaps we are destroyer of worlds, and we will turn our back against that. But I think the extra influence gain we're going to get from egalitarian along with utopian abundance is just going to make this whole experience a lot more fun. And that is pretty much it. Of course, we're going with the aquatic designs again. And we are going to probably rush becoming Emperor, or at least Custodian, to get loads of influence. So let's go. And so, with all that in place, we begin our ascendancy to become Emperor. Hey everyone, Future Lathrix here, as is tradition with these full playthroughs. First of all, I just want to say that this full playthrough was probably the most relaxing full playthrough I have ever recorded. There was something to do with just managing over 100 habitats, but also not really moving out of your space and just focusing on that and nothing else that was kind of zen in its own sort of monotonous but really enjoyable way. So much so that we ended up making probably the longest full playthrough in terms of sheer years played within the game. I was going to stop several times, but then just kind of carried on. So this week has just been incredibly zen because of habitats. But as usual, I am here as well to shill for the video. These full playthroughs take a very long time to record with over 50 hours of footage in this case, and it takes a long time to edit them down, and it is also poison for the YouTube algorithm. So if you do enjoy these videos, then likes and comments, all that interaction really does help out so much and allows me to make these videos, which is the style which I absolutely adore to record and edit and everything else, and hopefully I will be doing full playthroughs of other games fairly soon. As much as I do love Stellaris, I am also thinking about extending my horizons, so if you would like to see that, again, comments and likes help out a lot. Expanding my horizons. I've been recording for a week. I'm very tired. Now, back to past Lathrix and the relaxation of habitat management. And so we begin next to the galactic core. So then, how are we going to start this? Ultimately, I think this will become a very chill run after this little starting section, because what we're going to need is to quickly map out where our choke points are going to be, because we're going to have quite a small amount of space because of how we're playing this. We're going to play incredibly tall because we just don't really need much space at all to put down loads and loads of habitats. I suppose in a way then, we're kind of playing wide because of just how many different colonies we'll have, but either way, we don't need much space, it's all about mapping out what we already have. And I'm also going to try and rush as fast as possible into a decent bit of unity. The reason is, once we have the mercantile, whichever one's actually called, the tradition, we can then start turning our trade value into both energy and consumer goods, or energy and unity. Either of which will be fantastic for us. Then once we form a federation with someone, it will be both consumer goods and unity in addition to energy. Whoa, that's a lot of energy. Very strong start, lovely. Okay, yeah, just want to get everything started as soon as possible. Now here's a building I don't normally build, even if I am playing a trade value empire, but here we go. Just for now, put down the corporate culture site.
Fleet has been refitted.
And let's start getting everything sorted. Adaptive economic policies. By adapting a more flexible approach to economic affairs, we will be able to recalibrate our economy to anticipate every eventuality. So with that, we then have Marketplace of Ideas, so we are now gaining a lovely chunk of unity so we can rush a lot of the stuff we want, which is great. And, honestly, this is just a really strong tradition tree now. Having our clerks give 1 extra trade value each, which is then affected by all the different modifiers, and of course having merchants from our commercial zones, we're going to have some really profitable habitats later on. And for now, we're still having a good level of economy, even though we're siphoning it off for unity, so it's all well and good. Okay, so to begin with, I will be starting to grab systems before trying to force more habitats, just to make sure we do have choke points chosen. Probably there. We'll find out soon enough. I will create some more science ships. Already over 100 unity now. One thing I didn't even consider is that this here, the commercial enterprise, also affects trade districts. You know, which our habitats have. So we have a lot of merchants now, and merchants produce a lot of trade value. So we have just absolutely tons of trade value, which means we have tons of unity, which is lovely because we're rushing through everything. So, yep, prosperity is next for some more stability and resources from jobs. Just nice and greedy so we can start putting down all the habitats. And then the next one after that will be either discovery or diplomacy, depending on if we can find someone first. Just making sure we have all these basic systems though right now, so all of our influence is going towards this rather than making more habitats. Then we're going to just completely stop growing, really. This will be it. And then habitats, and more, you guessed it, habitats. And maybe some cake. Okay, we have our factions being egalitarian. We really want to please them. So the first group, the actual egalitarian group, is how can you have 75% approval when I've gave you everything you want? Some people just can't be happy. Then we have the xenophiles, which are at 60% indirect xenology, and new contact. Well, that's going to happen soon, but indirect, we can do that straight away. So passive study. That'll bring you to 75%. There we go. Lovely. I'm surprised that this isn't more skewed, honestly. 60-40. Oh well. Still well and good. So that's now giving us almost 5 influence a month. Lovely, because that has been really holding us back. Greetings! Lovely. So we got very lucky here. They absolutely adore us. And getting them into our federation is going to be incredibly easy. They have a vassal here straight away? It looks like they made their own vassal? Like straight away? I don't quite know. No, 25 pups. What did you do there? Unless that was a primitive civilization. Maybe that was a primitive civilization they uplifted? Very difficult to say. Either way, for some reason, they've split, but they both like us, so getting them into a federation should be nice and easy. Don't know what's going on over there. These, though, apparently are hostile, so yeah. What I need to do is get my construction ship to give us these 2 systems, then all of this is ours. Didn't quite go as far that way as I wanted, but that's fine. And then over here, as long as we have this system, we're fine. So we're pretty much good to go. Now, all this is being protected by the Fallen Empire, so this should be enough space. This should, in theory, be enough space, and we even have a black hole, which is important because we do need the matter decompressor later, because minerals might become a bit of a problem. Maybe. Okay, yeah, I've definitely decided to go with these, because I didn't realise these fellas over here, the militarists, are also regular materialists. So it's more likely these two will get to like each other than the spiritualists. And we want the Trade League. There we are.
They wish to speak with us.
Come on, hurry up.
A Federation treaty.
Nice and quickly, we are in Federation. I definitely have had Federations faster than that, but this was a very decent speed regardless. So the main reason for this Federation... thank you for putting your envoys in as well. The main reason for this Federation is now we have the Trade Policy Trade League, which is energy, unity, and consumer goods. So with that, we now need to get rid of Mastercraft Inc. Honestly, I thought that would be better than it was for this. It was good, because it's such a lovely job. Look at that. They're producing almost 2 engineering research, almost 11 consumer goods, and 2.5 just regular trade value. That's a really powerful job. And it has made this start incredibly easy. But was it really needed? I think if we didn't find a Federation member this quickly, it would have been really instrumental. But because we got very lucky in that we're in this cluster, it didn't really pan out that way. We have 114 consumer goods a month. Well then. That's kind of absurd.
A system has been charted.
That's a lot of energy, which means we can have loads of alloys. Yeah, that's it then. Now we just wait and try and get more influence as we go. We need to become the custodian to max that out. 100% approval currently from the xenophiles. Fantastic. We should have more of them. We now have 2 habitats on the way. Soon their tentacle glory will be all over these systems, which is a weird thing to say. Just need more influence. So we'll get some more influence by going down the route of domination in the tradition trees. Then we'll get more influence via some of the tech. We should have a decent chunk by the end, and I am really glad I ended up going egalitarian. Just that extra little bit of influence from these two is lovely.
There is new
The one time we get a decent-sized relic world for the rubricator is the one time I can't land on it. Well, at least we have it, so it looks cool.
System scan complete.
Yay. Oh, okay, about to be able to make our next habitat.
New technology discovered.
Doesn't really matter where these go. They're going to go on every single one of these worlds eventually, but I am focusing on the mineral ones for now, so we can get those lovely mineral deposits. Although I did see someone say, apparently you can now do a decision to, like, add mining and other things to the habitats which don't have the extra one. Okay, this one doesn't have one. I'm sure someone said you could, but I don't know how. Maybe you need a certain tech for it. We do have the Ascension Voidborn. That's mostly for the extra building slots. Since I don't think you can get all of the building slots with habitats. So any extra is very welcome. Yeah, first of the new habitats, though, is now inhabited. Once again, I am super happy I ended up going egalitarian rather than pacifist because of that extra influence. It is so useful because it is the thing mostly holding us back. I'm currently producing almost no alloys because I am going into machines quite a bit. I got droid tech weirdly early, so we're making droids so they can do all the jobs. Now, it might not be a great idea because, you know, populations and stuff, but the thing is, we are under utopian abundance. So, overcrowding isn't as bad as it might otherwise be, because unemployed floaty fellas will give us unity and science. There really hasn't been all that much to talk about. It's now 38 years in, and I have completely used up every world on the first system, I think. Yep, I can't put down a habitat anywhere. So we move on to the next, and we'll just keep on going like this until every last one of our systems in this lovely tiny little empire of ours is completely coated in habitats. Also, I did end up going with nutritional plenitude. Maybe that was a mistake. I need to start growing a lot more food. Well, that was a little bit faster than I expected. This system is completely taken up already. This is a very small system attached to our home system, and that now we'll have 3 habitats on. Not much else really has changed over the last few years, just now I have upgraded my species because we have gone down the route of genetic engineering. I don't really know if this is the best choice here. I would like the psychic one, and the machine one would always be very powerful, but I do like this species kind of staying as it is for now. And the species is now simply rapid breeders. Now it has more space and a lot more worlds to choose from, habitats to choose from. I think it only makes sense that the population growth would increase dramatically. So, I finally updated our civics, and honestly, there's less choice than I thought. Because of how we're set up, with our ethics and everything, there wasn't many good choices, but we just had to get rid of Mastercraft Inc. because I think I have like 2 of these jobs now because we're generating so many consumer goods. And that's only going to continue as we get more and more trade habitats as the game goes on. So, Yeah, I've changed that. We now have public relations specialists giving us extra diplomatic weight and extra envoys for even more diplomatic weight, and we have media conglomerates giving us extra happiness. I was tempted by brand loyalty, and that's kind of it. At the moment, none of these are particularly useful to us. I mean, extra leader experience is nice, but not really that powerful. The living state. Okay, so that's actually the main thing I really wanted here for two reasons. First of all, you get more influence, that's pretty fantastic. But then also, this is going to be really good with our empire, because we have almost all of our worlds, all of our habitats in single systems, just all cramped into very few systems. Having that on our star bases above, giving +5 stability to everything, is actually quite a lot for very little. So that's really good. That is insanely useful. So I'm going to prep the star bases, because soon we're going to need that. Okay, so we just reached rank 3 of our Federation, which means now we can do the most important thing, which will be changing our vote weight to diplomatic. This means whoever is the strongest will essentially have control. Because diplomacy is fantastic. Oh, come on, hurry up and get there. Are you really going to stay at 0? Okay, we're not quite at 100. Come on. Now, will you allow this? Yes, you will. Fantastic. So I don't have to buy any more favors. So what that's essentially done is now, yeah, vote weight is equal, meaning that everyone would have a 1-part vote. Diplomatic means your vote completely depends on your diplomatic weight, and then you put your weight towards that. And obviously that's what we want, because then any other change we make will be us leading everyone else. Although our economy is already a lot stronger, but also our diplomatic weight is stronger, and we can improve that by sending the envoys back over here. So right now we are by far the strongest out of the 3, and soon we'll be able to completely overrule them both. In fact, you can probably do that already since you're so weak. Yeah. But still, that's the whole point. So we continue onwards with our nice relaxing playthrough. Lathrix is back in charge, but Lathrix is a benevolent ruler. So everyone gets a nice trade value and a monthly energy credits bonus for a while, and I gain full control of our trading guild. So at the moment, that doesn't really give us oh no, it does already give us the influence. I thought that was next. Fantastic, and then after that, level 4, the president gets just a bulk diplomatic weight increase. So yeah, so we have an extra envoy, extra influence, then an extra diplomatic weight. All the other bonuses go towards everyone. Ooh, just plus 10% trade value, and of course we do get stronger together, extra damage versus the end game crisis. I've also now opened up free migration, so I'm hoping I see at least one. There we go, because I'm going to get xenocompatibility. And since we're going down the genetic route, this means we're going to make some really powerful species. Which is good. So, good news, bad news. Good news, we might get our custodianship a bit faster. Bad news, it's because the Great Khan is here. We are not yet ready for this. This is incredibly early, only 10 years after it can spawn. I'm going to have to now spend all my alloys trying to defend this system. Thankfully, there are no wormholes in our territory or L gates nearby. Yes. Okay, there's an L gate over there. That's not open yet, obviously, so that's not a big deal to create a wormhole. The closest wormhole is over here. So, we're going to have 2 points to defend at most. I'm hoping only 1, and I think we can make it work. I think I can act as a blocker for the Great Khan. The progenitors over here, the Fallen Empire, will also block them, so they can't get around to attack out other Federation members. Nope, nope, yes they can. Darn it. I really didn't see that system. I was blind to that one system. Well, we'll see as we go. Well, the Horde is destroying the militarists, who are putting up no fight, because their AI apparently really wants their fleets to sit right here. This is where they sit, this is where they are at home, they are here, and this is where they stay. Not, you know, where they're being attacked. At one point, the Great Khan actually destroyed the subspace ruptures over here. It still says they're there, but they're not, and lost most of its health. Their fleets were nearby, and they ignored them. And then they wanted to join our Federation, so we allowed them just so I can see fully what's going on. I had to have a science ship over there, which no longer is there. There's not really much else to say. They're just attacking everything nearby. They're not really doing too much. This fleet's kind of just been sitting there. Oh, because it's not the Great Khan. Well, that would explain that. So we've had plenty of time. I'm now putting battleships into the Federation fleet. I'm upgrading the station, and I've gone more towards alloys rather than research, so actually we are able to make quite a bit. I'm actually making a new habitat again after quite a while. I'm also on the Galactic Council now. So now I have to wait until I can do this in 1,800 days.
Upgrades applied.
I was being optimistic then. So you may be wondering, why am I not really going for anything? Why am I not really attacking the Horde except for maybe sending out a scout right now just to see what's going on? The reason is, we could be putting more alloys now towards our fleet, but we need the Horde to be here for quite a while. Only while the Horde's up are people going to accept this. Are going to accept me becoming the custodian. Then after that, only if the Horde is up will people accept me extending the term limit indefinitely. Oh, here's where the Horde is. Okay, so I've jumped. So that's kind of, the thought process there. We need them up for quite some time, and now I don't really want to become Emperor, because becoming Emperor means we'll end up losing our Federation, which means we lose that lovely Trade Federation policy here, Trade League. But I do need unlimited time as Custodian and Custodian itself, both of which the galaxy is ultimately fairly against.
New technology discovered.
I was hoping the whole take point thing would work with our Federation fleet, but apparently not. Maybe destroying these will get them finally moving.
Colony founded.
Because honestly, they could easily fight back against quite a few of their fleets.
Initiating evasive maneuvers.
Nope, they're not following along. Maybe it's because we're not at true war. The Great Khan has perished. That's actually surprisingly quick, and this time just from my random events. So, yeah, the Horde managed to take all of this, but they've been a little bit passive of actually claiming new space, just kind of patrolling their space they have. They did start moving towards my bastion here, but then I put the Federation fleet there as well, and they just kind of sat there now, like, haha, just you wait until you move. My kind of goal, honestly, was just defend these two Federation members, because we only just grabbed those because they were desperate, and it's kind of just happened that way. There's a pirate fleet there, but not the Khan. So I'm hoping now is that they'll break up. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. No, that's actually really bad. We haven't got term limit. Extend. Oh no. Is anyone currently building habitat? Problem is, their support will change when the Khan is gone. So it doesn't matter if I force it through now by stopping the habitats. That was just way too fast. So I've got until my term is over to get an overwhelming majority to vote for me. Now, thankfully, some of the empires died in this. Or at least died earlier. It's actually quite a small galactic community. Oh no, it's just a small galaxy. A medium galaxy, I suppose. So what I could do is try and get favours with the other council members, then use my influence there. Yeah, I don't think I'll force it through, so I'm just going to continue on, and that'll be that, really. Yeah, it was in fact the Horde Splinters, so now we are safe. There are now going to be multiple new true empires, which are fanatic militarist xenophobe. Is that what they always are? Yeah, so we have the true Horde over here, then we have the successors. Don't know what you are. Is there anything else other than just those two? There's the successors, those, the true Horde again. Maybe that's it. The Horde, and both of them over here. Okay, so it's just two new empires. I'm just going to ignore them then. Do you want to rejoin the Federation? Sure. Another thing to mention is that clone vats, of course, can be used to breed specific ones. So now we have the perfect half species here. All of the worlds could have the clone vats to produce those. Now, the issue then arises, am I going to get enough jobs to keep up with that population growth? And that's going to cost so much food, it's going to really hurt our economy. But if we can keep up, then this means we're going to snowball incredibly quickly after this point. And I'm going to go a bit crazy with it. So all 5 of those are going to have clone vats. Start producing the perfect species. If only we had a psychic species in our Empire as well, like the rackets, try and get the perfect racket, so then you'd have all the genetic stuff and psychic and void dweller. That would be amazing. We now have plus 17 influence a month since we have just activated will to power. And of course we are still the custodian, although I still haven't extended my term limit, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but we're going to try our best. Our diplomatic weight is now, not you, you. So at 24k now, about at 25. Gonna need a lot of favours for this. The problem is also some other people favours, so it's gonna be difficult. Actually, do I owe no favours? Okay, actually, not too bad. Only one there. How about you? You owe favours to me already. So how about me? How do I check who I owe favours to? I don't know if there's an easy way to do it. Because they will use those against me, that's a thing. Fantastic. I mean, oh no, the Great Tempest is here. It's a terrible tragedy for the galaxy. In no way does this benefit my political career. So yeah, now they're all on my side here. So I'm just going to save up to get this into the proposal queue, and then I can just wait again. I do have a strong enough fleet now to deal with these shoals, so I am going to go and help out our Federation member. The rest of the galaxy can, I'm sure they'll be fine. That went a lot better than expected, honestly. Okay, get back over there. Let's just take out the ones in the L gate, and then we'll just sit there. And that's pretty much the crisis over, though we won't tell all the lovely people here now, will we? After all, we are their guardian. We are protecting them. We're doing all the things which you'd expect us to do. Now, I am saving up a little bit of influence, since now I can start building megastructures. I at least want the science nexus. Then I am tempted to grab galactic wonders. I don't think I'm going to allow myself to make ring worlds. It would be great for me, but I'm just going to go completely habitat now. We've got to this point, we may as well go with that kind of ruling. But yeah, so we could go master builders into galactic wonders. That would at least allow us to have the matter decompressor and the Dyson sphere. Should help out a lot. But for now, definitely going with master builders, which will also help out with our many habitats. We currently have 44 which are inhabited. Still want to get to 100 by the end of the video at minimum. Kind of wishing I was using a outliner mod right now, like Tiny. Is it called Tiny Outliner? The one I used to use. Well, either way, I wanted this to be the last truly vanilla run. And after this, we will be using mods anyway. There are a few mods I want to test out, and any mods which you would like to suggest, feel free to. This has been a really relaxing run. There's just been so little stress. Everything I've done has just been nice and straightforward. Mostly just staying in our own little area, just making sure everything's working away, just keeping to ourselves, because we can't have planets. Really conquering other systems and other empires really doesn't matter to us at all. Now, what we could have done, I was thinking about this, oops, Daisy, a moment ago, is we could have gone into nihilistic acquisition. Oh wait, no I can't because I'm xenophile. Never mind, ignore that. I was about to say though, perhaps if we went a completely different style of run, we could have stole people for our habitats. But yeah, turns out I couldn't have even done that, so it's absolutely fine. As we've just reached our 50th habitat, we are now also just about to become the permanent custodian of this backwards little galaxy. There we are. So now we're forever the custodian, which means we're forever going to have all that lovely influence, which is great for us because, well, we still have 50 more habitats to go. Have I used up another system? Wow, yeah, I've just moved over to that system over there. I'm also starting to build a science nexus. I'm on the first phase of it right now, so I have a tiny little research bonus. Yeah, this is going to be really awkward. Actually, you know what? Other fella who's moving over there, yeah, just grab that system instead. We'll pop down the stuff there. Did someone grab one of my systems? Technocracy? That was naughty. I need my systems. I'll still be fine though. I haven't put down any habitats here. I've got all this chunk over here, which is, I guess, too expensive for them to grab. And I have all this chunk here and here. And we still haven't put down any here either. Okay, yeah, we should be okay. Plus, the good thing with all the habitats is we're going to make it very difficult for anyone to get through our borders, because I'll probably just put down a load of fortress habitats in those 3 systems. Our 3 choke points. I guess technically this should be a choke point as well. I'm just thinking for when the endgame crisis arrives, I don't know if I'm going to be completely ready. I am now going more towards tech. I've just hit 10k, so that's actually pretty good. But we're not super powerful. We are scaling very quickly, though. Now that we have all those clone vats and everything else, we are scaling very quickly. We also have 8.6k trade value right now, which is paying for all our food, our minerals, everything else. Although they are a minus now, I am buying like 500 of each every month. Actually, I think about 1,000 food. Okay, the Science Nexus is finally being upgraded to its final stage. I think it might be a little bit late for Galactic Wonders, though at the same time, all I really want is the matter decompressor, because we are using up a lot of minerals, and even with a few of our stations being mining stations, it's just, yeah, it's just nowhere near enough. Though, to be fair, a lot of them look like this right now with too many specialists since we rushed all the buildings, so it's a bit hard to say what I'm meant to do next. I'm still, of course, just rushing as many habitats as possible. There's a lot more we could be doing, but all of our resources is going directly into habitats, so now we do have 65 of them. Our home system is completely saturated. This one is almost now saturated. All of these are already. We are going to hit the 100. Hopefully before the endgame crisis spawns, but likely likely after the endgame officially starts in 2350. So, 23 years to go until the endgame crisis, or at least the endgame begins, and our ally has claimed the L gate for themselves and is capable of defending it apparently, which is lovely. Our main fleet is heading towards 200k, not exactly super strong, but at least it shows our repeatables are starting, especially since half of this Federation fleet is just random designs from before, so that's okay. And yeah, the tech's going well. Everything is super relaxing. One more of the systems is now completely saturated, and we're moving on to the next already. We are at 77 habitats, all in one sector. It's been so fun micromanaging them. Though honestly, it hasn't been that bad because there's been so little else to focus on. It's just been really remarkably chill. Well, it's a little bit late, but we are now building a matter decompressor, and now we have all of our final choke points. So we have this one over here, we have the actual black hole itself, we have this one here, since I'm not going to be really building anything in this bit of territory here or here. We have this one here, and finally, the one over there. It's actually not all that many, and our fleet power is terrible. We've got to be honest, completely honest there, it is terrible. I am really hoping that the endgame crisis gives us a few more years. If it spawns in straight away, I'm not particularly hopeful here. But that being said, my alloys are now starting to look decent, so I could start focusing a bit more on the fleet itself, along with the repeatables. We're actually in, we're in an okay position, but not a particularly super strong one. This is definitely a mediocre level of power for this late in the game. I don't know if I want to say I'm confident or not. On the upside, we are now on 88 of our lovely habitats, and we have, sorry, 2 there, and yeah, okay, so we have 2 already ready, and at least 1 more being made. So I think we are guaranteed to get the 100 at least before the endgame crisis shows its face. Our species are looking fantastic, and now cybernetic has even managed to work its way in, which is great. Now, sadly, you can't genetically give cybernetic to the species if they don't already have cybernetic. I tried, it just has that horrible noise, and we simply can't do anything about it. But a lot of our half species now are looking fantastic, because remember, the half species get an extra trait point and an extra trait pick. So this is kind of how they're looking. We have thrifty, charismatic, natural physicists, which is kind of where I'm going right now. A lot of energy weapon damage is what I'm currently stacking. We have the biggest brains, and we are fertile, so we have lots and lots of them. So that is going to be... why can't I give something... Oh, because some of them have cybernetic, so I can't do that. That's fine.
Situation log updated.
We have you. Then we have so many different human species here. The humans really get around. That's what I'll say in this galaxy. Yeah, we have loads of different species. But yeah, every time one of the species gets to a decent number, I then convert it to the perfect version of itself. Just really happy that it turns out these have become the dominant force within our empire. The Galactic Defense Force has been founded. The galaxy will become a safer place. I've never had this event actually work before, so this is the event where one of your people will kind of vanish after everyone blacks out in a room in the Science Nexus, only for the next day the person to come back. Essentially, it seems like he can travel through time or do something like that if you read the full event, and it gives Spark of Genius, or just give him an eye. I know it gives one of these to it. I forgot exactly what it was before, but yeah, that's a good leader.
Engaging hostile fleets. Construction online.
I think it's about time to finally remove the Grey Tempest threat. Mostly because we are now so powerful that no one can really outvote us, so we are now actually going to save everyone. Well done, everyone. There you go. We are the Tempest Savior. Plus a few of the Grey Tempests were getting through and attacking. How did the Covenant grab that? Yeah, I trusted my allies to keep the L-Gate, and that was a terrible idea. Okay, so some of the habitats now are going to be our fortress habitats. These, of course, are only going along our borders. These will just make it far harder for enemies to get through very easily, because the endgame crisis is now just around the corner, and honestly, I'm only partially prepared. If I didn't have Defender of the Galaxy, I'd say I wouldn't be prepared at all, to be perfectly honest. I've definitely seen ways I could have done this entire run better, but it's been super fun learning that kind of stuff, since I normally don't go with... Look how big these things are! Normally I don't go with habitat spam. I used to a very long time ago, many versions of the game ago, but since then it's just not really been a thing I've found particularly fun, so it's been really enjoyable only doing that, and just look at how many habitats we have. In fact, how many do we have now? So we have 99 in this sector, and we have 3 there, but 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are still being colonized, so I don't count it as us reaching 100 yet. Though we do have 100 habitats currently either being colonized or colonized, it's not 100 fully colonized. And now our trade value is sitting at 21,000, and we're getting way more energy now since we're no longer having to buy minerals, with the second stage of the matter decompressor just about to be finished. In fact, this is the only choke point we have which isn't being protected via fortress habitats, but the thing is, the next choke point is actually shared with this one, because it goes all the way around, and down, and here, and these are going to be fortresses. So here's the stats of a fortress station. Stronghold build speed is increased, orbital bombardment damage is reduced, that's honestly the main one, and defense army damage is increased. Most of the endgame crisis, it's really the bombardment which is the biggest worry. So it's just spam strongholds and then a planetary shield generator. Okay, so right now, still no sign of the endgame crisis. I mean, it's only been 1 year, but still. We do now have the full 100 habitats, so I'm very happy to say that, yep, we have achieved our goal, which is lovely, and my god, the micromanagement of this is a nightmare. A lot of the worlds you'll see, which are basically finished like this, I am just leaving, and the population moves to the new habitats. So the new habitats are getting full really fast now. In fact, at some point, I am going to reach this weird kind of point where the habitats being built, I'm not building fast enough for the population. It's going to be a nightmare. But it's fine. Remember, our unemployed populations still produce resources, except for the robots. So you were the only one. Huh. Yeah, that's the only species which isn't under utopian abundance. Well, now it is. Yeah, so like I was saying, yeah, there we go. Any of our species which are unemployed will still produce resources, so it's fine. It's not too big of a deal. Really, the biggest problem is more housing, and I think the problem there is I've gone too much into trade districts and not enough into habitation districts. Now, thankfully, I do have a lot of these lovely habitats which aren't yet fully upgraded. That's like one of the last things to do because it is very expensive for very few districts. But it is something I can do in addition to building, so it's going to be a while before it becomes a serious problem, and then population growth will just kind of naturally stop because of overcrowding, so it's not too much of an issue, but yeah, a bit of a stability problem. At some point that's going to tip over to the fact that I can't build more things faster than they're naturally growing, so bit of an issue. Now, back to the point I was going to make originally, which is this. We currently have 2 fleets over 400k, we have a over 100k fleet here, and then a almost 200k fleet here, so combined, that should be able to take out any fleet of any endgame crisis, as long as they're not stacked up. Plus, we do have advantages if we're in a system with our Citadel, like extra fire rate, extra weapon range. So right now, we should be able to hold out long enough to become strong enough to fight back. That's the point I was trying to make. I think I have successfully done that, and I'm honestly tempted just to go, you know what? All these other galaxies, all these other empires, with your worlds, you can be left at the endgame crisis. I have this blob. It's my blob. It's precious to me. Oh, I haven't seen this event in so long. The Guardians of the Galaxy. So, to sum this up, these fellows realised some kind of crisis happened, and now they've awoken because of them. The thing is, that's already kind of over. I've never seen it so late either. Normally it's like during the event. I assume from the Grey Tempest, or maybe from the Great Khan? Well, if they go to war with us, we will obliterate them at this point. I'll just make sure to continue to build up my fleet as a main priority. My ships already kind of counter these guys as well, because they're really good with their shields. And I completely ignore shields with all of my fleets. I've got arc emitters and I've got strikecraft as the main weapons. The arc emitters ignore armor and shield, and the strikecraft ignore shield, so does their armor and hull. Yeah, just don't go to war with us and we'll ignore you, because I can't take your worlds. Oh god, there's actually a thing. If we go to war with them, I have to make sure not to get any of their worlds, otherwise the run is scuffed. I will be heartbroken if we somehow end up with one of those worlds. Don't you bloody dare, lads. We're egalitarian, we're xenophiles, but you don't want to get us mad. You don't want to know what's on the end of this tail. I was thinking more like a stinger than other things that could be said there. I just had to stop building one of these star bases, and I've spent all my influence on ending a session early, which means now we can go ahead and expand our galactic defense force. Oh, that's so annoying. I just thought, xenophobes. There is a chance the xenophobes will wake up, and then they will fight the xenophiles, and that will then trigger the War in Heaven. The War in Heaven has a chance of tearing our Federation apart unless I join the what's it called? The Independent Federation, which will stay, as long as I'm the leader, it will stay as my Federation type. But I really don't want that. We might have to go to war with the Fallen Empire, but I need to figure out a way to not get the world. I guess I could just have the rule, if I do get the world, I've got to transfer the people off instantly. So, destroy the colony. Here's wishing I had the Colossus. Oh, you know what? Should have had the Colossus. I don't know what I would have sacrificed for it, but yeah, if I had the Colossus, I could have the World Cracker, and from that, I could simply destroy worlds when I'm at war with them. I kind of want to do this run again in the future, because I have really enjoyed this. As kind of silly as it's been, I have really enjoyed this. And, yeah, I think going with a Colossus is a really good idea. For now, we'll just keep on building up the Galactic Defense Force. If the Remnants awaken, we go to war instantly to prevent the War in Heaven from starting. Okay, the Unbidden are our crisis for today. You know, I haven't had the contingency in so long. I think next time I do a non-modded playthrough, or just a non-showing off of something specific playthrough, I really think I am going to force the contingency, because I haven't seen them in so long I forgot half of their mechanics. So either way, the Unbidden are now here. Hey Unbidden, how you doing? Okay, so on the upside, our ships are perfectly made to counter these things, because they have the arc emitters, which go through their shield and their armor. See, I say that. Technically speaking, kinetic weapons are better, but this is a nice backup. It's a backup. It's a backup. But what we do need to do is change everything to pure shields. So here's wishing we had fought the endgame, the Fallen Empire, because then we'd have better shields. What do I do about this? What do I do? Do I do my duty and help out, or do I sit here and bask in the glory of habitats? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I am fully prepared. You know what, I am actually going to swap over to kinetic. But we've already got so much into strikecraft. Yeah, but kinetic shields are so good here. Okay, I'll do one last one of these, because that's what all these are kitted out with. I'll use the fleets I currently have, and I'll use those as a slowdown measure, so I'm going to send them out and just attack small fleets whenever I see them, attack the stations whenever they're undefended, just be a general nuisance, which will slow down the Unbidden significantly, even with just a half-decent fleet, you can do that quite effectively and just slow the enemy down. It won't be enough to defeat them just yet, but obviously every year we get stronger and stronger, and I will continue to keep on building habitats, especially now I'm finally grabbing the other systems we have, because I ran out of just normal systems for stuff in a protected area. So, yeah, that's the goal now. As I was saying, we are going to continue to build habitats. Oh, is it worth going down the route of kinetic? Oh, it's just been... Look at how many upgrades we already have in energy. Basically, it's just our arc emitters. This just means our arc emitters are the main weapon. Strikecraft are okay, but it takes too long for them to get into the fight, and by that time the enemy hitting us, they will be one-shotting us at this point, since we just don't have enough upgrades, especially into shields. With full kinetic, you do basically do more damage overall because of the bonus damage to shields and to hull, although it seems like the arc emitter would do more overall because it's ignoring shields, which the unbidden mostly are. The maths is on the favour of full kinetic. But we're already just so far. We're already so far into this research. I kind of assumed it was going to be the Scourge, because it's always the Scourge at the moment, and I was clearly wrong. I just had a coughing fit directly into the microphone, so hopefully I edited that out. So, try to saying this. We just fired all the arc emitters, and a couple of the smaller craft did go away. Now, this is their largest current fleet. All the other fleets have separated. Now, here's the problem with the strike craft. It just takes way too long to get there. Now, these energy weapons are going to be pretty useless, in my opinion, since they're just going to hit the shields. Now, the Federation fleet is made up of way too many corvettes and everything else. They're just going to go down, but at least there'll be a meat shield. The strike craft will do a lot of damage now it's here. That could have gone better. Could have gone worse. I mean, we did definitely win, just we lost all of our meat shields there, so... But again, that was their largest current fleet. They may have their super fleet somewhere, but I think that's split up as well, unless I just can't see it currently. So that's good. So that's their biggest fleet dealt with. Now, them expanding into this area has been slowed down significantly. Even just one fleet being destroyed slows them down, since they don't start off with that many, even when they split. Could we take out that one? That one is significantly smaller. I think we might be able to. What I'll do is I'll set up... in this system. No, it doesn't really matter. No, we'll set up here. Stay where we are, as far away as possible. And I'll try and reinforce. So what we need to do really is start changing some of these other citadels into shipyards. Well, soon to be citadels anyway. Because we don't have the mega shipyard this time, because I didn't have enough influence, because I've been spending it all on habitats. Well, there goes the Titan. Wait, was that it? Okay, that wasn't too bad. Again, lost some, but I didn't expect really to be winning much at all right now, so very happy with that. Let's make a move to here. Just be really careful. I don't mind losing all my fleets right now, as long as we take out enough of theirs that it's slowing them down. That's all I care about. I imagine this will be the last fight we have before we have to flee, if we even win this one. Oh, come on, Strikecraft, do your thing!
Fleet lost.
Let's...
Fleet lost.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind if I lost the Strikecraft. Oh, look how close that is. So close. Okay, so we took out one of their, well, their biggest fleet. We took out one of their second big fleets, and then we've almost destroyed that one. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I know the unbidden's here, but I'm still having a really relaxing time. My fleet's pretty much back to where it was already. We now have 5 fully operational shipyards, all with maxed out shipyards and everything else. Because we don't have the mega shipyard, it's the way I'm trying to compensate a little bit. And all of our new habitats, and yes, we are still making loads of them, are going to be foundry habitats. So our alloy production is going through the roof. And I also kind of remembered to do this. Militarized economy. For some reason, I thought it was just a flat negative or positive, but it's specifically from jobs. And we aren't producing consumer goods from jobs, so this isn't really even a negative. We're just getting more alloys, which is lovely. The second portal is opened, though it's right in the middle of unbidden territory, so that's interesting. So now we have the Aberrant, who are here to fight the unbidden. as we just sit here and build habitats. There they are. Orange versus blue. I mean, the main problem is really just the fact it spawned in another one of the main fleets. Which I still don't know where the unbidden version of that's gone. I think it has actually just split up. Which explains why it's covering so much ground. We are being a bit surrounded now, annoyingly. Oh, unless... Nope, yep, that is definitely unbidden. So, our defense fleet is now at 1.1 mil, which is lovely. Our Federation fleet about 500k, and about 250k regular fleets when they're completely finished, which I'm now constructing since the other two are finally fully built up. Things are looking good, and we're almost at 2k alloys per month. Again, this is nowhere near as strong as I've been in past runs, just not even close. But still, we're okay. Though there is a very real chance we end up becoming just an island here as the unbidden devour the rest of the galaxy, because I feel safe here. As long as it's in my territory, I get a bonus to my fire rate, I get all the bonuses of the Citadel, which is increased fire rate and everything else for ships in that system. It's pretty good. However, I am currently very close to getting maximum rank with the Federation, which will give us plus 25% against the endgame crisis, and I also am about to pass a united front, giving us plus 20% damage in addition to that. That's a lot of extra damage, so once both of those have passed, we can really start hurting the enemy even more so than we already are. So, all we need is one of our Federation members to survive, and this one is very close. And once the unbidden devour here, we can always, of course, just climb this system and then move our borders forward. Just a thought. These fellas may be the last fellas alive if I go down that path, purely for the bonuses. Wow, I just missed that. It said engaging hostile fleets, I moved over and it's already over.
New technology.
A united front has just passed, which means now we are doing the plus 20% on top of our Defender of the Galaxy. Still not great, but it'll do. I am starting to think that maybe we should have just gone kinetic. But it works, it works. You heading towards me? Yes, you are, okay. Just need to back off a bit then, since our weapon's out of range. Okay, here's the next colour. That's really close. Back off, back to our system.
New technology discovered.
We're having some clashes down here of Team Charmander versus Team Squirtle. Meanwhile, up north, Team Squirtle is pushing against Bulbasaur's territory. And Team Lathrix is sitting here, slowly amassing more and more regular fleets. Probably should start claiming areas now. We have got enough power that we can make a serious dent if we want to. But I am tempted to go with the whole concept of just, I own this like little patch here and just let the others fight for eternity, because it is kind of fun. And I do like the idea of every single one of these planets having a habitat, so it's like a perfect little sphere blob thing. It's kind of funny, at this point it's just the three unbidden types fighting each other. Very little taking over of new territory, because they have essentially won. I'm fine with that, because that's one of my win conditions here. So what I'm going to do is wait until this system here is taken by the unbidden, then we move out, we take that for ourselves. That way, we can put down our citadel here, so basically moving that citadel forward, then all of this is then being protected permanently from us. The unbidden can't jump, and I will consider a victory once all of the choke points are completely defended and the unbidden are unable to get through, and then I'm just the permanent ruler of my little blob here, which will be slowly made into perfection. In fact, I'm even building a Dyson Sphere now. I'm basically a fallen empire. I had loads and loads of battleships all stacked up, ready to be built, and I've changed. Well, I'm going to change all of them to build Federation battleships, because there's a bit of a weird interaction in the game at the moment, where our actual maximum is only 600, but I am definitely building far more than that, and until those battleships are made, the game doesn't understand I am going way over the Federation limit. So yeah, I'm going to sell absolutely everything I have to try and get as many of those out as possible. Now, I could have waited longer, stacked up everything a little bit more, but this is what we're going to go with, just... And you have to do it manually as well. If you try and do the reinforce, it'll just go to its natural cap. So hopefully that should be it. Come on, bombard the world, do what I want. Darn you, purple!
Transmission.
That's really irritating. But still, I want them to have easy access over here. We just... The only thing we need to do is make sure this world doesn't fall. The system can fall, just not the world itself. Lovely, so I've basically done what we want already, so we're going to put this small fleet here. Just one off there, just in case. We do have gateways, by the way, pretty much everywhere now. We have a gateway here. For this choke point, we have a gateway next to our main shipyards. We have a gateway which is just being built here. We have a gateway just being built here. We have one there already, so we can jump around nice and quickly. So once I grab this system, I can put a gateway there. But I still want my territory to be where the choke point is, just because of the bonuses we get for being in our own territory. So, can someone please destroy this world? I know it's very cruel, and these have been generous, lovely alloys. Alloys? Allies. I don't see them as a resource. That wasn't a total slip of the tongue there at all. You're all just going mad. So, to be perfectly honest, at this point, we are completely capable of just destroying the endgame crisis. That really isn't in dispute. We have some super fleets already, our tech is going insane, we could be doing so much right now to just wipe out huge sections of them and just, honestly, just destroy them. There really is nothing stopping us. But I'm kind of now convinced that I love the concept of just seeing the three factions of the Unbidden fight it out as we stay here. The reason is, I never see the three phases of the Unbidden. They normally destroy each other too quickly. Normally one of them will get the upper hand and obliterate the other one, especially if one spawns quite badly. In fact, the Aberrant spawned right next to the Unbidden, so I was certain that was going to happen. I thought that it was just going to be a matter of the Aberrant spawn in, they get obliterated, and then it just goes back to the Unbidden. For once, all three of them... Oh, is there a fourth? Either way, the three currently here are seemingly equal. I would say the regular Unbidden are doing worse because they're so badly spread out, but it's somewhat equal. Wait, half-half, and then mutatis. So that's like the mutant species, so this is kind of a triple half there? I don't even know. It's just what's happened now. It is so incredibly satisfying going back to the repeatables I haven't been doing yet because of just how fast they complete. It was 2 months until I think this one now, which is 3 months for the shield upgrade over and over again. And I know it's weird that I haven't been doing the shield upgrade, considering we're versus the Unbidden, who are countered via shields, but I've just been focusing on damage instead. But now I'm able to get the shield so quickly. The Federation fleet is already at 2.4, we have normal fleets about to hit 400k, all of our new battleships are completely shields, with only one set of armor just because of energy reserves. Over here, yep, all the same as before. And I believe our defense force is about to hit 2 mil. And as this month rolls out, we're back into positive energy because I have built refinery stations, so now everything is stable and self-sustaining. Only 3 battleships lost there, and that was a 2.5 mil fleet, I think.
Colony founded.
That's the problem with this system, it's too small. So in that case, can you please stay at the back? That way you have more time to attack. The attack speed now of the energy weapons is just stupid. No, several battleships. So it is pretty much just playing out as I said before. They get a little bit of territory from each other, then they get it back, and it's all kind of just equaling out. The Unbidden definitely look the weakest out of the 3.
New technology discovered.
It's very rare we actually get attacked. I'm now at war with the Fallen Empire and like half of the galaxy, purely because I want this system back. So, as soon as we can status quo, the war will be over, and I'll grab the system. I've been seeing a lot of this. Just changing hands over and over again. Now Team Squirtle is attacking Team Bulbasaur. Which is more of like an orangey yellow when you actually look at them rather than green. And they wish to preserve the throne of Venusaur. You killed some Federation ships, you meanie. Well, I've been playing this for way longer than expected just because of how chill it's been. It's been a really fun and different experience, but now it's safe to say I've got every single achievement I wanted to done. So if we take a look-see trying to build a habitat, every single system I currently own has a habitat above every world where it's possible to have so. Let's just take a look at a couple of them. With no actual worlds taken at all, every single planet which can have a habitat has a habitat, which means we have over 180 habitats currently inhabited, and then we have 2 more which are just about to be inhabited with the colony ships now being built. Our regular fleets are now over 600,000 fleet power, which is more than powerful enough to deal with pretty much anything when they're stacked. There we go, there's some normal ones at full health at the bottom, so any new ones being created, that's how strong they are. Our Federation fleet is almost 4 mil, this one over here is almost 3 mil. We are pretty much safe. There's no way the enemy can possibly get through, and we have gateways on every single choke point, so if somehow they broke through by stacking up, we could then stack up and take it back pretty much instantly. The guild is complete, in my opinion. We have the Dyson Sphere. We have the matter decompressor. We could build the mega shipyard if we wanted to, but I just haven't seen a need to. I think we are done, and this was a really, really fun experience, and I really do hope you've enjoyed it as well. We are the custodian forever, defending our little friend over here when they're absolutely under attack. And other than that, we're just going to stay by ourselves. Maybe eventually expand out when we're completely out of space to grab some new territory for habitats, but that's not going to be for a long time. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Stellaris is a series you wish to see continued in the future. The next full playthrough is almost certainly going to be a modded run, and there's a lot of mods I want to take a look at with gigastructures, still having stuff I need to look at as well, but I'm thinking some different things first. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.